everyone. Thanks for joining today. My name is Angela Harvey, and I'm joined by our partner, Charan from Trantor, to talk about how enterprise automation sped up Avaya's business processes.
Hi, everyone. Looking forward for the presentation.
So the promise of automation. Organizations have implemented automation for a few different reasons. One was to speed up processes, to reduce errors, and also to free up people's time. And traditional automation tools like workflow and RPA really did help with these endeavors, but they weren't without limitations. According to IDC, some of the challenges that organizations see is number one, process orchestration. How do you deal with what we would call islands of automation? So you've got different, like traditional automation was really intended to speed up a specific process or specific task, but they ended up being a little bit disconnected. It kind of leads into the second challenge there of bot proliferation. So 51% of technology buyers stated that bot proliferation was a real challenge in their organization. So again, you would get these kind of disconnected islands of automation, which goes into the third challenge of a disconnected tool set. Any organization today will certainly have some tools for automation in their landscape, but they might be disconnected and not necessarily talking to one another. So why enterprise automation? You've certainly invested in multiple automation initiatives, but they might be disjointed and not driving full impact. So they're getting you part of the way there, but not solving your total issue. What enterprise automation endeavors to do is identify your business processes, find bottlenecks, model out best state, and then implement those automations throughout your organization end to end. So really it's endeavoring to automate as many business and IT processes as possible. And why enterprise automation with SAP? Only SAP is able to deliver the entire suite that you need to deliver this end-to-end automation from a single vendor. It starts with integration. You can't automate what you can't connect to. Integration Suite lets you connect across your hybrid landscape efficiently. Then you use SAP Build Process Automation to implement automations across your landscape. Process automation from SAP includes workflow management, RPA, business rules, business decisions, really everything you need to automate processes, both within your SAP applications and also extending to non-SAP applications. And then there's also the ability to improve continuously. So Signavio is a fantastic tool that helps you analyze processes across your entire landscape and understand where you're going to benefit most from automation. In the earlier slide, I talked about the challenges of bot proliferation, and a lot of that came from people not knowing what they should automate and really just automating everything. What Signavio allows you to do is understand where you'll benefit most from automation and also gain consensus between the business and IT. So this is going to allow you to integrate everything, easily discover inefficiencies, and automate processes across heterogeneous landscapes. These are three distinct solutions today that you're probably familiar with, and they're the market leaders in their categories, but they work seamlessly. So enterprise automation isn't about a single tool or even a suite of tools. It's about having the solutions in your landscape work together. So I wanted to spend a moment just talking about how the enterprise automation solutions work together. Well, the first kind of interaction is between Integration Suite and SAP Build. Integration Suite includes an event mesh that tracks common high-volume business events, for example, goods movement in S4. These events can easily trigger automations within SAP Build. So when a business event happens, you can trigger the corresponding approval, for example. The combination of these two solutions also helps you easily package up APIs for use by business experts and leverage all of the APIs available in Integration Suite. And both of these solutions actually have built-in AI that you can use throughout your process in a simple way. So for example, with Build Process Automation, we've got document extraction that can really easily do things like take unstructured data and get it ready to be entered into, say, a PO in S4HANA. And the two solutions also share a common content catalog called the Business Accelerator Hub. This has thousands of pre-built integrations and iFlows for Integration Suite, as well as pre-built automation content for your SAP applications. So this content was built by the S4 engineering teams or the Ariba or SuccessFactors teams to automate things that our customers are wanting to do most frequently, and it works out of the box with your solutions. Then when we move between automate completely and improve continuously with SAP Build and SAP Signavio, The first kind of benefit is really using Signavio to understand areas where there's low automation rates or where your processes are not performing as they should be. You can use this to really pinpoint what you want to start with automation. I just mentioned those pre-built automations that exist for SAP Build. Well, SAP Signavio can actually recommend automations that work out of the box. So it could say, for example, your quote to cash process is a little bit slower than you would like it to be. You might want to consider this pre-built RPA bot that works out of the box. So that's for HANA. You can also trigger automations and workflows based on rules and thresholds. So you might say, if a particular process is taking too long, then to trigger an exception process, which can then be initiated in SAP Build Process Automation. And there's also the ability to then take the models that you've built within your Signavio solutions for that best state and implement those process automations within SAP Build. And then there's also integration between Integration Suite and the Signavio solutions. Using Integration Suite makes it easier for you to mine SAP and non-SAP solutions using the connectivity available with SAP Integration Suite. I mentioned the event mesh that tracks all those high-volume business events. Well, with SAP Signavio, for process performance can also be published to the event mesh because you might want to take a corrective action. And then any application subscribing to event mesh can understand when there's this poor process performance or maybe suboptimal process performance. And you can also use the same way that you can trigger automations from Signavio with SAP Build, you can trigger integrations in Integration Suite using Signavio. So really a rich set of solutions that work together. And with that, I would love to pass it to Sai, who could talk a little bit more about Avaya and how they're implementing, or how he implemented rather, these solutions at Avaya to help address some of the challenges they saw. So Sai, over to you.
Let's start with our company's information. Okay, our headquarters are at Durham, New York City, US, and our number of employees is more than like 8,000 plus, and we have like more than 2 lakhs customers with our service with 190 plus countries. So mainly Avaya is used for different technologies, different platforms. Mainly Avaya provides some business related equipment for our customers with like cameras, collaborating units, and some conference drones, headsets, IP phones, room systems, Vantage and wireless headsets. When it comes to what exactly Avaya is an like American multinational technology company which collaborates with all sort of work streams, and we include USAS, which is Unified Communications, contact centers, and other services. As I already said, we have services with more than 220,000 customers in 190 plus countries, including Apple, AT&T, Dell, CVSL, as well as the government organizations. Now, when it comes to every minute of every day of Avaya's goal, is to power positive and predictive interactions that drives customers' loyalty, team collaboration, and business success. So mainly, we, as I already said, we have some customers with different kind of domains and everything. Apart from this, we are morely highly driven technology-based company who provides some different sort of technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and robotic process automation, as well as Gen AI and everything. So this is what overall about the company's information, which I would like to previews. Going forward deep into what exactly we have done with one sort of our process, okay, which is mainly dealing into different systems. So the main idea of our project and the use case details are, we have an internal tool called Concur Automation, Concur Process, okay? So where employees submit their expense bills or the invoices within different regions with different formats or something. Now, our project case details is completely into this sort of information. It was very hard for an employees to do this manual validations and everything, whichever is submitted. So going forward, what exactly the thoughts was, why can't this be automated? Why can't we have this particular process called comprehensive expense audit automation can be automated with some sort of tools or an AI technology or an RPA technology or something. Now, when it comes to an RPA technology, we use different sort of OCRs to get the information from the invoices or something, web image-based systems. However, RPA with sort of OCR will not give us some 100% or at least 80% of the accuracy for the use case, whatever we are trying to build in. Now, here comes a magical thing, which is a plugin for SAP BTP, which is SAP IRPA. To just give you a brief information, IRPA is not in robotic process automation. Okay, it's mainly robotic process automation with a combination of AI and ML, which is also known as IPA, which is Intelligent Process Automation. So we have used the same sort of technology to implement our use case. Now let's talk about what exactly our use case is. Our use case is simple. Employees logging into the Concur solutions. While logging in, they have some ping ID as in multi-factor authentication. Logging into that with the username and password, they have some key IDs. Based on the key ID, which is already known as a report ID, they search with the report IDs. That report IDs will have some set of invoices. One by one invoice needs to be extracted with the details of invoice amount, the date, currency, and the name, mainly the line items. Line items in the sense, what exactly that invoice is having of, and the taxes and everything. So this is what we need to extract it, and we need to validate with the report, whatever we have gotten. If that are matching, the manager will go ahead and approve that particular request in Concur tool. If it is not matching up, what exactly the manager will do is like he or she will like reject, hey, or keep in the pending state setting that, hey, these exactly details are not matching. Probably you have to go back, correct it, or attach the exact invoice, what exactly is needed in this particular case to approve. Now, this is what the manual process is. It looks pretty simple. Now, when it comes to the challenging part, there will be like for 1 to 10 persons, like one person might go to America, the other person might go to India, the third person might go to Singapore or somewhere. They will have different sort of invoice formats with different language. One will have Spanish, one will have some different Chinese language, some will have some handwritten language. So for that sort of invoices which needs to be extracted, you need to have some magical thing coming into the market. So based on that IRPA technology, we have used document information extraction concept. Now, what exactly is that? That document information extraction has some set of templates, which has some purchase order templates, which are already predefined, credit memo templates, invoice templates or something. But for our use case, we have inbuilt our own algorithm for that sort of document information extraction to get this all details. Now, what exactly our bot will do? Bot in the sense, the robot is a combination of RPA and Intelligent Process Automation, which is IPA. Logins into Concur tool with MFA via ping ID. Now, that's also a challenging part. Doing a multi-factor authentication with a robotic process automation is a challenging part, but we have achieved it through SAP IRPA version 2. Logging into this Concur automation tool, going forward, download the invoice one by one, extract the details with different formats like invoice amount, date, currency, and everything. Based on that, our robot used to validate that information with the extracted report, and if it is validating, it used to approve. If it is not validating, that particular report ID will be shared back to that particular person and the manager stating that, hey, this can't be approved because we have some mismatched details. So that is overall scenario of what exactly our case details is. Now let's go through what is process before and process after. Before, what we used to do, we used to validate the expense report in SAP Concur software. Like user manually spends 2 to 3 minutes for a particular invoice for 2 to 3 minutes. So any mismatched invoices are saved in local drive and manually sent to employees and their managers or anyone to invoice with the invoice attached. And if this process is mainly the costly process and it times consuming of every employee, if you have observed 2 to 3 minutes for each invoice, like you get thousands of invoices on every day basis with different employees with different regions. So resource used to be 24/7 on this particular process before. Now, what have we achieved after implementing this process automation, the intelligent automation bot? The desired end-to-end automation is used to deliver with RPA and AI functionalities approximately 25K to 26K invoices per year. Without even human intervention, bot would save that particular invoices into the network drive, and also the automatic emails can be triggered to the employee and the manager with the invoice attached in case of mismatched scenarios, like if invoice amount or invoice date is not matching up. So again, this automation enables this rapid reaction times, providing faster responses than what exactly human does. It enhances accuracy. Now, when it comes to accuracy, usually this sort of automations will not have and higher accuracy, but we have achieved 80%, 85% of accuracy with this particular implementation of document information extraction with a combination of RPA by using SAP IRPA version 2. So this is overall about the project case details. Now, what architecture we have used? So there are two things, SAP solutions and non-SAP solutions. We have used a Concur automation tool for our particular process automation, which is SAP Concur. We have inbuilt Signavio solutions to build our process, exact requirements, what exactly we need, which is an integration of SAP Build Process Automation, which is now called as SAP BPA. Earlier, it was an SAP IRPA. That particular connectors will be having an output of data center. So now what we have achieved with this architecture is we have taken care of SAP Concur application as a base for our automation skills, inbuilt the Signavio to build the process automation requirements, and that combination with build SBPA, which is build process automation, we have delivered this particular project. So this is what our overall architecture is. Now let's go back to the next slide of our internal architecture. We use remote connections. There are two things which we have used for different projects. We have used RTP sessions and we have used Amazon Web Services. Now there are two things. Interactive clients which are virtual, which are used for configuring studio bots. And we have used runtime resources for virtuals with an application server. This runtime resource with application server are used to schedule the robots in Cloud Factory with SAP IRPA technology, which is like we used to schedule the bots in between these runtimes and application servers. Now, using this runtime resource and application servers, there are a combination of two things. We used to have the operating systems communications as well as the scheduled bots. Now, with interactive clients and the application servers, we used to have this operating communications. And all this information are stored in our SAP RPA Cloud, IRPA Cloud with the database. Now, let's go back to the next slide. Now, this is the overall high-level process overview. As our first step, this is the bot overall to be the target state of the process which we have achieved, and it is running on the daily basis perspective as of now. So first thing, we will logging into the email of our Avaya accounts and download the attachments, capture all the inputs from Microsoft Excel, which will have the report IDs, invoice amounts, invoice dates, tax details, everything. So once we capture all the details with this Excel bot, we will logging into the SAP Concur software, which will have an MFA of ping ID. So now what bot will do? Bot will extract that ping ID, 5 digits or 6 digits ID, and it will go back to the Concur automation tool, log in with the username and password. After that, it will enter the ping ID and it will log in into the Concur automation tool. Once it logs in, it extracted, if you see the second step, it captures all the inputs in the Excel. The one of the input is report ID, which is the starting stage of extracting the invoices from the Concur automation tool. Now, fourth step is something what we're logging into Concur tool and extract all the invoices using the AI concept, which is called document information extraction. RPA is used to download the invoices from the Concur automation tool, and this automation artificial intelligence concept, the document information extraction, is used to extract the invoices information like the invoice amount, date, currency, and all this kind of stuff. So once we extract all the information, bot will validate all the invoices by using the input. Now, what is the input? Input, again, we'll come back to the second step, which is capturing all the inputs from the Microsoft Excel. So this is all the fifth step does. Once all the information extraction is done, the validation is done, bot sends an email to all mismatching invoices. Let's assume if the invoice is not matching up with the exact details of what exactly is needed, like an invoice amount, date, currency, line items, or there are some business logic. If an employee is exceeding more than $50 per these particular bills, like meals or something, then we have to not approve it. So there are some business logics which we have used for validation of this particular process. Once that validation is done, if something is mismatching, if we are not following, if that business logic is failing with some or the other way, then probably we'll send an email to the all the mismatching invoices through to the manager. Now, where we will get the manager's email ID? On the same Concur tool. The bot will enter the employee's ID in the Concur tool. Once the employee ID is entered, that particular employee's reporting to the manager ID will be extracted from the bot, and bot will take the email ID from there and it will interact with the manager stating that, hey, these and these details are not matching, probably we can't approve it. So now this is overall the process. Now let's come back to the next slide, the impact. What exactly has been impacted? 800 manual efforts were saved every year because of this automation. We have achieved that, and it's a huge target with our 85% of accuracy. Now, why is it 85%? Because we have limited our invoices for set of languages. We have not enabled it for all sort of languages. And that's the reason the accuracy is 85%. That 85% is giving us 800 manual effort saved for every year. Okay. And now 91% of efficiency and precision of SAP Concur software invoice audit process has been done. What is this 95%? 95% is a combination of both, like the Concur automation, which is done by RPA, and the document information extraction, which we have done for all the invoice extraction. So this combination has given us 91% of efficiency. And what is the productivity? Productivity has increased 3 times, which is for the audit process. And what exactly is happening here? All the manual efforts which has been done, all the manual process which is going to happen with 24/7, that has been reduced. And our productivity has been increased 3 times, which is mainly cost saving, manual hour saving, and the productivity has been increased and the efficiency has been increased for 3 times. So this is overall about the use case that we have delivered. With all this sort of 800 manual efforts, 91% of efficiency, and 3x of productivity and efficiency. So Tranto, being a partner, has developed this particular bot and delivered it to Avaya. It was very efficient project, and it was very useful project for us, being collaborating with Avaya. So we have done many other automations, this being a very challenging automation for us. So this is overall about the process. I'll hand over this for the next proceedings to Angela. Thank you so much for your time and patience.
Thank you so much, Sai, for going through how Avaya has been able to implement some of these solutions to really achieve enterprise automation. It was a fantastic overview. I hope all of you in the audience enjoyed this session. We've got some more information there. If you're wanting to learn more about enterprise automation, we've got a variety of different sessions at TechEd that I'd encourage you to check out, or you can read about more customer success stories and other use cases for enterprise automation at our .com site listed there. So thanks again for your time, and I hope you truly enjoy the rest of TechEd.